Imagine having a trading strategy so simple that you only have to wake up at a specific time of the day, take one or two trades max in a span of 2 hours, and then be done with your day. You made money and now you're enjoying your time with your friends and family. Well, in this video, that's exactly what I'm about to teach you. A simple mechanical trading strategy that I've been using for the past couple of months, and the members have been using as well, and all of you have been using that strategy as well. And that strategy is the Midas model. Please correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but that's how I pronounce it. Anyways, this strategy is simply so powerful that literally anyone can trade. It doesn't matter if you're like 50 years old, 60 years old, or even like 18 plus, right? You can simply take these trades like a robot, and I promise you by the end of the month you will end up in a very decent profit. Now, I'm not saying that's going to work 100% of the time, but if your risk management is solid and your psychology is solid, I promise you this strategy is golden. It is a strategy that is so strong that you don't even really need daily bias. And the beauty of this strategy is that it's completely mechanical. So you're just following a set of rules and you're not looking at higher time frames, right? You're just looking for this pattern that occurs at a very specific time of the day, and then you're taking one or two trades. And that's exactly what I'm about to teach you right now in this video. Once again, so you guys can understand it correctly. My goal is here to teach this strategy again and again so you guys can understand it correctly. So the very first step that you have to do before we even do anything is that you have to go here and you have to change your time zone, TradingView time zone, to New York. Now we do that because so that you don't get confused about the timings that I'm going to be using and teaching you about. Now we are only going to be trading gold. All right. So this strategy is only for gold. So make sure you know that. Right. So the very first step is that you have to basically, I've said it multiple times. So by now you should know that before 8 p.m. New York time, right? So let me just take this here. So it's actually very like understandable for you. Okay, so this is right here. Let's go here. This right here is the 8 p.m. New York time open. Now on the 15-minute time frame, what you are basically doing is identifying the most recent high and the most recent low, okay, before 8 p.m. open on the 15-minute time frame. Now simply mark out the high and the low over here. Now once we have marked out the most recent high and the most recent low that are unswept, right, before 8 p.m., we are good to go. Now, after the 8 p.m. open, what we are looking for is for price to either sweep out the most recent low or the most recent high. Now, let's say in this case, the most recent low was taken out. Now, the next step is that we simply drop down to 1 minute time frame. And we are simply looking for a market structure shift with displacement. Now, what exactly is a displacement? It is a market structure shift that leaves behind a fair value gap. So a fair value gap is very important here, all right? It should form before the market structure shift, or it can displace up and form a fair value gap somewhere around here. But by looking at it, you should know that it is a displacement, right? Basically, think of it like a big elephant jumping into a pool and then the water splashes. That's exactly what we want to see. Kind of like a V shape, right? Market structure shift, or the one with the fair value gap. Pretty simple stuff here. And then once you get like a market structure shift, all you're doing is basically taking your entry right away. So you can enter right away if the price is still close to the market structure shift level. So you can enter directly here. Or let's say price goes up here and then closes, then you wait for a retracement into some form of PD array. Now this could be a breaker block over here, or it could be a fair value gap. You take your entry, you go for 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, and you go break even at 1 to 1, and you can take a small partial as well. The simplest trading strategy. And then there is a second trade I'm going to teach you about. So make sure you keep watching till the end. Now this is how it will look if you are about to take a short position. Mark out the most recent high and the most recent low before 8 p.m. on the 15-minute time frame. Then when the liquidity is swept, you drop down to 1 minute, you look for a market structure shift, take your entry, and bam, 1 to 2 RR. Now, that is for 8 p.m. Judas. Now, once you are done with the 8 p.m. setup, or you couldn't get a setup for 8 p.m., that's when we can only take the 9 p.m. setup. But the criteria here is that your trade should be over. If it's not over, then close it if you want to, or let it running. That's one thing. Or you simply just wait for this entire trade to be over, and then you can look for the 9 p.m. model. You cannot take both trades at the same time because you can get like contradicting trades. So let's say on 8 p.m. Judas, you took a long. On 9 p.m. Judas, you can take a short. So you don't want to do that, all right? Make sure you're done with this trade first. Now, simple rule, go back to 15-minute time frame once again, right? And then identify the most recent high and the most recent low, unswept high and unswept low, and the most recent one before 9 p.m. open. So that was 8 p.m. Now we'll be looking at 9 p.m. So let me go here. And let's say that this is the 9 p.m. open over here. Now, simply put, what you're doing after 9 p.m. is waiting for price to either take out the low or the high. So let's say in this case, the low is taken out after 9 p.m. Now you simply look for a displacement to the upside, a market structure shift. You take your entry and you target 1 to 2 RR. 1 to 1 is break even with a small partial. Partial is optional. If you want to do it, then do it. If you don't want to, then don't do it. You're going to end up in profit no matter what by the end of the month. And pretty much this is that. Now there are some rules. So your entry must be before the midnight open, which is the 12 a.m. All right. Oh my God. So it is the 12th. All right. So your entry must be before that. Now let's say that you took this entry, that was a winner, and then you got the 8 p.m. the 9 p.m. Judas swing. You took your entry and that was a winner as well. Now you are done for the day. You are not looking to take any more trades. This is basically the entire strategy. It couldn't get any simpler than that, guys. Now let's say if we invert the chart, this is how it will look. We have the most recent high and the most recent low over here. Actually, if you look at it here closely, we have this as our most recent low. This is the 9 p.m. open. We have the 15-minute low and we have the 15-minute high. So over here, you can see price takes out the most recent high, market structure shift with displacement, entry, bam, 1 to 2 RR. Now that we've known about this, let me give you guys some examples. Also, I'm going to break down the trades that we took for this week. So this week has been amazing so far. And I'm going to break down the trades that we took with the Discord members. And I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so here's the trade that we took today. And basically, it is so simple. Look, this is 7:59. We're on the 15-minute time frame, right? Now over here, we have the most recent low that is unswept, untapped, and the closest to the price. Then if we look at it up here, we only have this high as the most recent high. Now, simply drop down to 1 minute time frame. Let me just make this a little cleaner. All right. Now, let's see what happens. Market opens here. We wait for a sweep. That's when we get a sweep. And right here, we have displacement. A fair value gap is formed, right? That's all we need. Now, we have a fair value gap. And we also have this auto block over here. So, let's say that this is your entry. Stop goes here. And you go for 1 to 2. Or let's say that your entry is this fair value gap. So your entry would go here, stop would go below the low, and you would go for 1 to 2. And notice how this plays out. Price taps the auto block and hits your full TP. Bam, right there. Tell me this isn't the simplest strategy. Now, the auto block entry would probably have gotten you close at break even because it hit 1 to 1. Actually, it just hit 1 to 2, to be honest. If you look at it here, reached there. So you could have have your stop here. Kind of could have managed it. But the fair value gap entry, we can see how we didn't get a break even somewhere around here. So 1 to 1, this is right here. And right after we hit the break even zone, we kept pushing up. We got our 1 to 2 and we were done for the day. Now we did get another setup for the 9 p.m. So let me show you. This one was a bit tricky, but I'll show you. So this is now 8:59. We have the most recent low. And we have over here the most recent high. Now let's go to the 1 minute time frame. Price sweeps out the low, right? But over here, you can see that we failed to close above it. Now, this could have been your risky entry, so low risk entry, right? From this fair value gap over here, because we failed to close above this. But then there was another entry that you will see. And right here, what we do is we form a fair value gap. So since the fair value gap is way far back up, sorry, you have far up, so this would have been your entry. Stop would go right below, somewhere around here, below the because this fair value gap is too big. And if you put it here, a stop below this low, our stop would be just so big. But since this fair value gap was respected and we had a break of structure, this fair value gap should hold. So you can see we get a tap and the full TP was hit right away. And we took it all live in the Discord. Not really live, but like I set out the ranges and stuff, and I marked out these levels. And when we got the entry, we saw it happen. So that was pretty much the trades for today. Let me show you the trades that happened yesterday. All right, so here's another trade. So over here, what you can see is if you look closely at 759, people might see this as the most recent low, right? But if you look very closely, you have to be careful. You can see that this is already swept. So this is not a valid low for us, okay? So a valid low is somewhere around here now, unswept one, okay? And what is the most recent high over here? And if you look at it closely, we got this high over here. This is the most recent high, and this is the most recent low before 8 p.m. open. Now, you're going to see that right after the open, we take out this high. So let's drop down to 1 minute time frame here. And we simply look for a market structure shift. And what do we have here, ladies and gentlemen? We have our market structure shift. Now, look at it here very closely. There's no fair value gap over here. Okay, so we are first of all waiting for a fair value gap formation, and we get it over here. Now we want to monitor the price carefully. And right here, what we have is another break of structure, right? So in this case, your entry, first of all, could have been from this fair value gap. You could have put your stop above here, right? Or if you look at it closely, we have this another fair value gap. This could have been your entry. Stop would have gone right above this high right there. And you could have gone for 1 to 2 RR, and you will see how this plays out. Absolutely beautiful. Pushes the, like literally this is like something that works so good that you can be confident in your trade every single time. You don't have to second guess. You have to take trades like with full confidence, and it has been working for so long, guys. And I mean, if you're not trading this model, I don't know what to say. Like, if you want to watch me live trade NQ and gold at 9:30 a.m. New York time every single day, there's a link down in the description. Click on it and you'll be able to get access. But I think that is going to be it for today. Very simple stuff. You can see how this strategy is just so powerful. It's just so mechanical that literally anyone can trade this.